Good morning, everyone who's watching. Um, no trades for me. I think I'm going to take the day off here. To me, it doesn't seem like much is going on. Really, how I determine that, of course, like everyone, is the scan. I don't even really see. I'm just scanning for 5 million volume here, and we have QMMM at 50%. We only have one ticker trading in 100 million. We do have RGTI, the biggest percent gainer on the day, 74%. So, I mean, just from the scan, it's looking slow. I was interested in QMMM right here in the morning, but foreign ticker, no catalyst. It's like not really quantum. Kinda, they have a subsidiary that's involved in quantum. So like, I guess kind of like indirectly involved in this sector. And it was, I don't want to say like a recent IPO, not a recent IPO, but not much chart history. And we have been seeing IPOs recently run. So that's kind of more why I was interested. But I don't get in front of the computer until 8:30. So it started bouncing like right when I got in front of the computer. So I was like, I don't know. I just wasn't, I guess, locked in the very first few seconds of the day. I think I'm going to try to start getting in front of the computer a little bit earlier because I feel like a lot of pre-market plays happen around 7, really, truly, and then sometimes around this 8 period. So, if I'm in front of the computer for an hour or half an hour before 8, I'm a little bit more locked in. Then I kind of was considering it down here, but I just can't. I just, I was considering it, but it's a really kind of tricky game to try to buy and pick a low on a fader. To me, this is just a fader, and most of the time, I mean, are we going to see a fader completely reverse? Probably not. In a slow day, in a foreign ticker with no catalyst, that's kind of indirectly related to the sector. I just not enough conviction for me to buy this. And so that's really it. The other one that looked okay was this bounce right here on QBTS. I probably would have played this, but I was in the restroom and it just happened quick. But you see this concept overall I like a lot. Just like a huge crack right to support, long wick, closes above support, and then a bounce, right? So, if I get in around like 290, 285, risking 280 back to VWAP, I would have liked that. And it's also a big drop from high a day, a whole dollar. So this concept overall I like, but I missed it. Totally fine. And I'm going to talk about FOMO in a second. And that was really it. I mean, another one I had my eyes on was PDYN for a bounce, which it did a little bit 10%, but it was halting down. And they have like an ATM and a shelf. Their offering ability is high on dilution tracker. So I was just like, I don't know. Yeah, it just, but again, you have a little 10% bounce here, double bottom, higher low after a big crack to support. So I don't hate it. But sometimes I just kind of get in these moods of like, it's just, it's slow and I just don't care. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't care. And then I saw a lot of people talking about works, but for me, the play was here on day 2, making a higher low. And I was talking about this on day 2 that I wanted it to fall down here. So for me, I can't buy this up here in any scenario, right? It needs to be like when I'm looking at this, I'm trying to ask myself, where is the play happening? Like, where is the play truly happening, right? So like, yes, we see a nice spike here. But to me, it's like the play is here, all the way back here, where it makes a higher low after fading a little bit from day 1. So I I just can't play this, but it's good to see that it's continuing. And again, it kind of follows the theme of tickers with low overhead supply and dilution tracker holding their gains. Other than that, I mean, and following on that point, like we're seeing SINT hold, right? Low overhead supply. I was down here in the threes, and look at that. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of slow. You know, you could feel it, and that's kind of what it just gives me a bad kind of taste in my mouth when it's so slow in the scan. I just have no conviction on anything. If anything, the only play that I was really interested in, truly, was this pre-market bounce on QMMM. You know, it was around 20% away from pre-market high or low, at support. And again, indirectly related to the quantum sector and IPO, recent IPO, which we've been seeing running. So other than that, I'm not interested now, even if this falls to 1. The only other things that I'm looking at all are some of these reverse split plays that I talked about on Saturday, but they kind of have gapped up a little bit. So like TPET, unless this falls back down here, I'll buy it. LUXH, this one's not too bad, but again, I mean, the low is at 124-ish. If it could go back down to this 130 range, I would be interested. AKAN, kind of see this little gap up here. I would need for me to fall back down here. DNMR had made a low at a round number, around 5, so I was interested, but then look, it cracked. So now it made a hole, and now it made a low at another whole number, 450. So maybe I might actually kind of start dabbling with this one. But that is it on my radar. There's just literally nothing for me. It just feels so slow. I assume this week would probably be on the slower side. But, I mean, we are seeing these quantum tickers hold. RGTI, awesome. QUBT, QBS, or QBTS, excuse me. 320, yeah. So this one is making this nice little bounce. So this was a nice bounce play for sure. If it pushes the VWAP, which it looks like it's going to, this would have been the play for me, but it's over. Which leads to my concept of FOMO. Out of all the emotional hurdles I'd have, FOMO really isn't one of mine. And obviously not trying to brag because I'm not a profitable trader and I have emotional hurdles like I've been talking about. But for whatever reason, FOMO is just not one of them for me. And I guess I'll try to give my perspective of, if you are dealing with FOMO, why I don't think you should. The first things first is, I've been trading since May. I joined the pack a month ago. And even just from this short period of time being in front of the screen, there's just plays all the time, like all the time. Even in slow markets, there are plays. So I'm not saying I never get FOMO. Of course I get FOMO, especially when like I am watching a ticker, like it's on my watch list and then I watch it go away from me. I definitely get FOMO then, but I don't get FOMO if I just see anything spiking, or in this case, if I missed this little bounce. Like, it's annoying for sure, so I missed this play and this play, right? I'm more annoyed about this one because, like I just said a moment ago, I was in front of it. But the first thing that comes to my mind is there's plays every single day. Like, there's plays almost every day. And once you get in front of the screen long enough, you'll notice that, right? Plays come and go all the time. The stock market isn't just going to stop being open because you missed this play, right? And if that is the case, then we can't be traders anyway, right? So there's plays that happen all the time. You're not going to miss the bigger picture of the markets just because you missed this one play, right? And the next thing is the risk reward is gone, right? So, for example, with this play right here, I'm looking at it here. I can't buy it here. It's just the risk. And okay, sure. In this case, it went from 150 to 170. Okay, cool. But me knowing that there was a play all the way back here in the 120s, it just doesn't hit the same when I'm buying it at 150. It just doesn't hit the same. The risk reward is completely off, and the majority of the time you're going to lose if you're buying up here, just like Roland says. So chasing or having FOMO just will never result in anything good. It just never result in anything good. And the reason why I know that personally is because I've lost so much. Right? I've lost so much from chasing or having FOMO and getting angry and, oh, I missed this play. Let me play another one that's less ideal, or, oh, maybe this has a little extra juice, right? It's just never going to happen, right? And then that kind of leads to my next point of where is the play happening, right? So again, if you're looking at here, like, okay, it's breaking highs, or maybe there's still some momentum left in this, you got to ask yourself, and what I ask myself is, where is the play actually happening? The play is actually happening when it makes a higher low at support right here in pre-market, not at 150, in my opinion, right? And again, sometimes you can get this little extra push. Most of the time, I don't think so. And, again, with another thing with FOMO, I feel like I've actually covered everything, right? There's plays that happen all the time. They come and go. 2, I've lost enough from FOMO or chasing to know that it never results in anything good. And then 3, you have to ask yourself, where is the play happening? And realistically, is there going to be extra juice on most of these plays? And probably the answer is probably no, right? So again, if the play is happening here, 122 to 150, that's already a pretty good gain. Do I think it's going to go from 150 to 170 and have extra legs? Maybe, but I'm not going to take that chance, right? And it just doesn't hit the same, like I said. So, for anyone, and then a different form of FOMO, right? Like, okay, I missed QMMM, right? Now, I don't know. Let's say I missed QMMM, I'm pissed, and I want to buy this, right? Or something, right? I want to buy up here in 350s. Oh, it's breaking out, whatever. Can't do it. It's still kind of the same concept of like, just because I missed out on the first play doesn't mean the next play really changes in any regard at all. It's still the same. Each ticker is its own story. So it's like, just because I missed the first play, it doesn't mean that the second play is more ideal, right? I still have to kind of have the same mindset with every ticker. And again, I guess lastly, right? So then, okay, I missed this second play here that I actually liked. Again, it's just the same concept of like, okay, plays happen all the time, 1. And 2, I just need to be more prepared next time, right? I'm not super mad about missing this one. It happened pretty quickly. But for this other one, I know that I need to be in front of my computer earlier, right? I can't be in front of my computer at 8:30 when the play is happening at 8:34. I'm not really kind of mentally ready yet to make a play. And that's it. So hopefully, if if you're dealing with FOMO, those, and one last thing, I keep on saying one last thing. I feel like FOMO, since it is such a big hurdle for a lot of people, is something that you constantly have to remind yourself every single day, like literally every single day. Plays happen all the time. Risk reward is diminished. Where is the play actually happening? Each ticker has its own story. You can't just, take one ticker story and translate it to another most of the time, right? It's something you have to remind yourself every day. So whether it's a sticky note, whatever the case is, that's part of why I'm doing these videos too, is like reminding myself every day of my emotional hurdles and how I need to get over them, and how I need to keep myself accountable. So yeah, hopefully this helps. Literally, no, everything is done for me today. I don't see anything, and I've been working hard. I have a job, obviously, like most people. I've been putting a lot of study time, so I think today I'm just going to kind of take it easy. I'll see how these reverse split plays kind of shape out in the afternoon, and that's it. So good luck, everyone, and